we're going to continue looking at the what of adding context to our data by talking about variable types. So we use the two main variable types in this class, which is the categorical and the quantitative. So we'll start by defining a categorical variable. So that categorical variable is one that places an individual into a distinct group or categories. So what's your favorite kind of fruit? Do you have a pet? What city do you live in? So the answer to these kinds of questions, the kind of data that you're going to find for a categorical variable, is usually a word of some sort. On the flip side of that is a number with units. So the categorical is really more of a word answer, like yes or no. What year are you in school? Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, those kinds of things. So quantitative, though, is a number that has units, and that number has to make sense for mathematical operations. Okay, so for example, a telephone number is a number, but it doesn't make sense to average telephone numbers. Like that doesn't give us anything meaningful. So quantitative is measured with some sort of units. Some examples of that are how tall are you measured in inches? How long does it take you to run a mile? So these are things that every single one of us could measure and we get the same result or the same answer. Okay. Now there is a number that doesn't happen for, and that would be kind of what I refer to as a fake quantitative variable. So I was looking at ordering protein shakes and I was super shocked to see this pumpkin spice flavor. I was kind of on the fence about it, right? It could go either way. It could be good, could be bad. And so I looked at the rating and it has 3.4 stars. So I was like, oh, that's kind of like a C plus-ish. C, so maybe it's not so bad, right? But I looked a little bit further, and what happened is the vast majority of people either gave it 5 stars or 1 star. So when I looked at this, it seemed like people either really liked it or really did not like it. Okay. And so I decided not to order it because that seems like too much of a risk, especially for 18 containers of this if I don't like it. Right? But people try to pretend this is a quantitative variable. These number of stars that people assign, that they took them and averaged them, that's where the 3.4 stars comes from, that really doesn't give you a good picture of what's going on. For example, everybody could have rated it between a 3 and a 4, which then would have made me probably more likely to buy it because it seemed like most people at least felt okay about it. Right? Versus this polarized opposites made me very discouraged from ordering it. So this happens a lot. People try to average these kinds of numbers when really those numbers are representing a word. A 5 is like, I loved it. And a 1 is like, I would really rather starve than drink this probably. So this is an example of people trying to make something into a quantitative variable that's really a categorical variable. And this is definitely something you want to stay away from because it doesn't give you meaningful information. This whole chart of the number of stars gives me some meaningful information, but just the average does not. Okay, so come back in the next video and we'll take a look at the next item for context.